Welcome back. This is my 12 Days of Lost World, and today I'm going to be looking at one of my favorites out of the Rebellion line, Princess Knight Annelotte. Now, as you can see, the character design is fairly decent. Looks basically like your standard combat skirt for a female fantasy character. Of course, there is the thing that there's also quite a few penny shots in here, but quite frankly, again, Japanese character design, and for another reason we'll be discussing a little later. Anyway, Annelotte has some pretty decent stats. For example, 10 body points, which is fairly average for your standard warrior. And I do believe a lot of her attacks are +3s and +2s, and her charge attack is a +5. That is devastating it at a very long range if you can hit it. However, probably one of the biggest things about her is that she's usually on horseback. And now, for those who are unaware of the Lost World's rules, characters with a higher height standing get a +1 to a lot of their heavy attacks, which is pretty good. And she spends half the fight on her horse. She can get knocked down, removing her +1, but for the most part, that +1 can really make a difference if you're pretty good at it. However, it is a good idea to keep an eye on what attacks you're using, because attacks that are mounted will be labeled, and if you use an unmounted attack, you will be immediately taken off the horse. There's also the fact that her weapon is transformable. What I mean is that it goes from a sword to a lance, and that lance is more just an aesthetic thing, really. Mostly just used while she's on horseback. Anyway, content-wise, as I said, lots of stuff involving upskirt shots, especially since that's a phantom horse and whatnot, but compared to a lot of the later offerings in the Rebellion series, this is kind of tame, especially if you watch a lot of anime. This is basic standard fan servicey stuff you expect from an anime, really. And if you're starting your collection, this is a good book to start with. She has some of the best stats of the Rebellion, at least from what my playthroughs anyway. Well, that's another review down. And tune in tomorrow and we'll be looking at yet another book.